Hello everyone, Toby Jones here from Learning Vault, and I am at home in self-isolation. As you can see, I'm in my garden today, and this has sort of led us to really think about what we can be doing to help our community, the vet vocational education community, during this time of uncertainty. And don't worry, this is not another coronavirus post that you've probably received from your banker and someone that you ordered some pants from last year, or your winemaker, or whatever else, about how they're setting up their office with ergonomic chairs or whatever else. This is hopefully just some practical advice that's going to help, and also include some of the things that we've been reading recently. So there's three things I just want to cover off today. Firstly is ASQA's announcement and their response to the pending situation, which was announced on Friday, which really affects our international RTOs, which is awesome what they've announced. Secondly is just a commitment from us, from Learning Vault, to you, to the sector, to our friends and community. And thirdly is just some practical tools that we've collated from people we've spoken to and things that we've used over the years that may or may not help you, hopefully, if you're thinking about what your work from home, teach from home rather, strategy might be. So firstly, announcement from ASQA on Friday, and I'm going to quote this directly as I don't want to get this wrong, but the terminology used in the announcement from ASQA, which affects our international RTOs, so our Cricross RTOs, is that they are going to be allowed to use adaptive measures. So RTOs are going to be able to use adaptive measures in order to continue teaching their students, regardless of whether they are able to continue doing it in the current delivery style of face-to-face and the amount of time that students need to spend in school. So the way that we've read this is that you're able to adapt your training and assessment strategy to reflect a virtual or online delivery model, in order to continue to engage and keep students going through their courses. Now, the thing that we must stress here, and it has been made clear in the directive, and we'll put this in the post above, so you can read it yourselves, but you must make sure that this is clearly documented. So the best way of doing this is actually putting an amendment to your training and assessment strategy, just stating the fact that you have taken an adaptive measure in order to continue teaching your students through the rest of their course throughout this time of a few weeks, months, whatever it may be that you have to do. So that directive, firstly, is a really positive step, so that international RTOs can start to make plans and make adjustments to be able to prepare for the changing situation. Secondly is a commitment from Learning Vault. As you know, we love this sector, we love the industry, and the worst thing that we could see to happen now is that the wheels start to slow down. So we've already had a number of calls on Friday and today with people just seeking genuine advice. Maybe you're a paper-based, face-to-face RTO, or maybe you already have a learning management system but you don't have resource content on there or digital strategy. Please do get in touch. We're more than happy to take calls and offer advice in any way that we can to help people to build out what their plan's going to be should there be a situation where their school can no longer run as it usually would. So please do genuinely take us up on that offer of getting in touch. Write me a private message, email, give us a call. We're more than happy to put you in touch with one of our expert team to help advise you through this process. So anything we can do to help, we are genuinely here to help. Thirdly is we've just collated a few tools that are excuse me, little or no cost, that you can utilize during this time, if you are going to be teaching remotely or teaching online, and they fall into 5 sections. Firstly, for your classes, there are 2 apps that we can strongly recommend. First is Uber Conference, which actually used to be our internal messaging app before we changed systems. Uber Conference gives you 45 minutes for free, and then there is Zoom Basic, which again gives you 40 minutes of webinar time for free. Now, all that happens at the end of that 40 minutes is it just cuts you off, and then you can actually just start another Zoom meeting again, and carry on. And I think you can have about 100 participants on there, so more than enough to keep going. And the good thing about those is you're not having to commit to large lengthy contracts or anything like that, and it may just be something that can help get you through these next few weeks. Second is for assessments. There are 2 tools that we've found and had a bit of a play around with. Firstly is Microsoft Forms, and secondly is Google Classroom, both of which allow you to build in assessment questions, quizzes and things like that. So again, really good if you do want to move to having some form of online assessment. They can work really well for that. Thirdly is engagement, and I should mention anything I'm mentioning here will be in the description, so don't worry about rewinding or having to write things down, and they'll all be in the description with all the links to them. Third is engagement, and there's a really good app, and I've actually used it myself when I've been in schools, is Kahoot, so K-A-H-O-O-T. Kahoot is really good for engagement. So one of the things that will happen with students who are maybe used to a face-to-face environment and are now working remotely is actually keeping them engaged in class. Kahoot is a really fun quiz app for Q&A style questions. Great to run at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, just as a bit of a touch point as to what's been learned the day before or what you've learned today, and can be used just to engage students in a fun way, and they can sign into an app and utilize that in that way. Fourth thing is screen recording. One of the things that has come up already from people we've been speaking to is the habit of students being able to continue to ask questions beyond a session about what was spoken about earlier on. That might not be, that level of communication access might not be possible with students being remote. So one of the things you might want to think about doing is actually doing a screen recording. Now, the best software that we found, and it's only $50, so it's a pretty low level investment, is an app called Snagit. That's S-N-A-G-I-T, Snagit. And Snagit actually is a partner of the platform I'm using now to make this video. And Snagit is a really cool tool, allows you to edit videos and share them and post them on YouTube and things like that, so you can send links out to students and they can watch the recordings back from a class. And finally, class communication and class discussion. And two apps that you may well be quite familiar with that have worked really well for this is WhatsApp and WeChat, both of which allow you to create groups, so you can have a group for each of your classes, and you can continue that touch point of engagement between students or between student and teacher. So just a few options there for you, and please let us know. We can let you know how we got on with those and how best to use them, but just a few things there for you to think about. So anyway, I hope you are all keeping well, keeping safe, and as we said at the beginning, anything that we can do to help throughout this process and stick together and stay strong as an industry, I think is so important. So please do get in touch with any questions that you have. All right, I wish you all good health, and I'll hopefully speak to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.